p.m. And I'd like to call the June 27th special meeting of the South Orange Maplewood Board of Education to order. Mr. Burnside, please take the roll call.
Board Member Nubia Duvall-Wilson.
Here.
Board Member Regina Eckert.
Here.
Board Member Bill Gifford. Board Member Alyssa Malaspina. Board Member Kawi Telesford.
Here.
Board Member Arun Vadlamani. Board Member Courtney Wingfield.
Here.
Board President Caitlin Whitletter.
Here.
Board Member Johanna Wright. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burnside. Please take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the following manner. That written notice was sent from the Office of the Secretary of the Board at 1:30 p.m. on June 23, 2023. That said notice was sent via email to Maplewood and South Orange Township clerks and the editors of the News Record, Star Ledger, and the Village Green. Tonight's meeting has been organized to conclude the annual CSA evaluation process. We will start the meeting with public speaks, and the board will then adjourn to discuss personnel. The board will be taking action this evening to accept the resignations of several employees. 3 of these employees were on administrative leave with pay as is required under NJSA 18A:6-8.3 for several school years. The acceptance of the resignations concludes these employment relationships and avoids exposing the board, staff, and students to any entanglement with efforts that could challenge efforts to terminate. Due to confidentiality laws, I'm not able to provide further information. The board will also be taking action to approve several administrative appointments this evening. So after we come back from our first executive session, the board will reconvene to take action. We will then be adjourning again to a closed session where the board will then meet with Dr. Taylor to discuss the 2022-23 CSA evaluation. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bear with me as I read the board president's statement into the record. The school board meeting is a business meeting in public and not a meeting with the public. Oftentimes, it may appear to members of our audience that the Board of Education takes action with very little comment and in many cases a unanimous vote. Before a matter is placed on the agenda at a public meeting, the administration has thoroughly reviewed the matter with the superintendent, and if the superintendent is satisfied that the matter is ready to be presented to the Board of Education, it is then referred to the appropriate board committee. The members of the board committee work with administration and the superintendent to assure that the members fully understand the matter. After the committee discusses the matter, it is then shared with the other board members for consideration. Only then is it placed on the agenda for board discussion and action at a public meeting. We'll now be moving on to the hearing of individuals and delegates. Thank you for coming in person and dialing in by phone this evening. The South Orange Maplewood Board of Education certainly respects that you've taken the time out of your busy day to address the board at tonight's meeting. We value public involvement in our school district, and we are eager to hear what you have to say. The board does have time limits by policy, and it will be enforcing those to enable as many people to speak as possible this evening. Each individual will be given 3 minutes to speak, so please do your best to stay within the time afforded to you. All input shared with the Board of Education is taken very seriously, thank you, and will inform future deliberations and work by the Board of Education and its committees. So we request that you please state your name and town of residence for the record. The first public speaks is Rocio Lopez. Hola.
Amo ver. Okay, so my name is Rocio Lopez. I live in Maplewood. I'm the president of Somella, and I am a teacher, a Spanish teacher at Columbia High School. I'm coming in my role as president of Somella to tell you that you're about to pass the employment of one person with something illegal. It's called an unfair labor practice because the person was placed off guide, and it's something that only the superintendent can approve. According to our contract, and I'm going to read it, Article 25, it says over here clearly, guide placement is not to exceed the penultimate step of the appropriate training level guide. Okay, so the letters in our contract, they're not steps. They're called off guide. The steps are because you can move up and down. So something was approved again, one more time, that is not supposed to be contractual. And I am going to tell you why. I don't mind people making money. The opposite. I want everybody to make money. But I don't know if you know that we have a group of teachers that they were collapsed 3 steps back in the day, and they never got that money. So we have teachers like Phil, that he's maybe in a step 10, let's say, of the salary guide, and he should be in a step 13 because of negotiations, and we understand that. But now, you know, this is a slap in the face, because today I received many text messages about, look, they're putting somebody off guide, not even in the steps. So I am telling you to look into this, talk to your counsel. I don't understand how Dr. Taylor approved this. It doesn't make any sense to me. And one more time, and you know you receive an email during the weekend about things that happen, I said that moving forward, I'm gonna bring up everything because it's happening in an everyday basis, and I'm tired of it. I am leaving to Spain right now with 40 Columbia High School students, and I had to stop here in an orange shirt because that's the color of my team to make this speech. So you see that we are tired. People are tired. So the Black Parents Workshop, they're saying things. I'm telling you things too. I am tired of fighting things that we're not supposed to fight. This is clear language in a contract. How many times do I have to fight for my contract, like the contract of my members? We, you, board members, and us, Somaya leadership, we agreeing to something. Why is that disregarded every step of the way? How many times do I have to put grievances? So today you're about to do something that is called an unfair labor practice. If you pass that job, I saw that the person was put off guide in a step B, 103, I think, 10-something, 380. I don't know what the member is. Again, I don't know this person. Is not a member yet, but I just want you to know that the contract go to Article 25, I believe it's letter B or C, that is going to tell you you can only put them in the penultimate step. So I'm tired. I thank you for all your hard work, and I know you seem like the bad people, so before you become the bad people and you have to take this unfair labor practice, I wanted to make you aware, because you do have the right as the board members to know that this was not supposed to happen. Thank you so much. And me voy a España, aro aro, and happy day for everyone. Adios. I'm going to the airport right now.
Adios. Thank you, Rocio. Hi. Okay, Stephen Carberry.
Stephen Carberry, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Yesterday, I was saying goodbye to students, telling them I'll see you in September in 5th grade. Some 3rd graders came up to me and said, "Are you going to be my Spanish teacher next year?" I nodded and left with an "hasta septiembre," see you in September. I didn't want to tell any students my situation, and I don't want them involved in the problems of the adult world. The thought of walking past these children as anything other than their Spanish teacher is very upsetting to me. They'll look at me and say, "Why aren't you our Spanish teacher anymore?" I'll have to come up with some explanation that makes sense to them. But the truth is, there is no explanation that will make sense. They'll see me walk away and they'll think, he doesn't want to teach us Spanish anymore. However, I would like one more year. I'd like to go out the way I came into the district and be able to say, I helped keep this special program afloat through stormy weather for 24 years. It really is a special program. Elementary school foreign language programs with experienced teachers don't exist in many districts. We began this program with stars in our eyes, a 3rd through 5th grade program. We convinced ourselves that we would expand to 2nd grade, 1st, and kindergarten, and have the best elementary school foreign language program in the state. Unfortunately, due to budgetary issues, we went in the opposite direction. 5 teachers became 4 teachers. More cuts, and we were down to 3. Another cut, and there were just 2 of us. 3 Spanish lessons a week became twice a week, became once a week, and no more 3rd grade Spanish. I would love to say that before I left, before I retired, I saw this program turn around and start to expand. Could we not consider bringing back the third grade into the elementary school world language program? We would then need a third teacher. We could bring in the 2 middle school teachers that need a position in the district, and I could help them transition into the program. The only thing needed is the will to strengthen this program. I realize there are a lot of programs to consider and the money needed to sustain them. Relatively speaking, adding another teacher to the Spanish program in the elementary school is not costly. We did have 3 teachers in our program for many years. Whatever you decide, I have no hard feelings. Working in South Orange and Maplewood has been a pleasure for me. I have had great joy in my life teaching Spanish to elementary school students, and I know it is what I was born to do. I can't express how much fun I have had singing songs on the morning announcements, playing music at book fairs, DJing ice cream socials, and dancing at cultural events. I just wish I could have one more year doing what I have done all these years and leave the district as Senor Carberry, the elementary school Spanish teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carberry. Next up, we have Allison Bechtel.
Hi, Allison Bechtel. I'm a Maplewood resident and a teacher here in the district. I basically just echo all of what Stephen just laid out. It was really, really sad these past few days to ignore and kind of almost, outright lie to your students. You say, hasta septiembre, and can't wait for Spanish next year and all that kind of stuff. Super sad, very sad. Even sadder is there's really no way to explain it. The 5th graders kind of knew, but the 4th graders and 3rd graders, it's a tough thing to explain. It's sad to know that everything that we put into the program is ending this way, and that our reassignments are leaving a huge hole where once thriving, engaging program was. Again, I reiterate, we are most often the favorite special in the elementary school, and beating phys ed is really hard. So we're kind of proud of that. As I'm pretty sure I've made clear, I, like Stephen, want nothing more than to maintain the status quo, keep our positions, make the program grow, and obviously we were all here last Thursday. That's something that's not possible or that's not going to happen. I'm not dumb to that. I was here, but I also tried to make it clear that I'm willing to be an adult, I'm willing to be reasonable, I'm willing to be flexible given the parameters, and step aside. Let Senor Carberry maintain this, transition a program if it's at all possible for him. I've got a few more years here. He's got his one last year. I'm willing to step into a different position. 2nd grade blows my mind away because I just can't visualize myself there. It's not a position I'm made for, nor that's made for me. So I see a posting on June 20th. I see another posting on June 23rd for a math position in the middle school. 9 years of experience teaching math in the middle school. That's me. Now, I wasn't considered for that position. I understand human resources because I don't hold the highly qualified status, though I have the general K-8 certificate. So I say to myself, well, Monique in human resources says, well, you could take the praxis. She threw that out there. I said, great. So I investigate this. We're at the end of the school year. I know people are busy, but to Stephen and I, this is super urgent and we just can't let it rest. So I investigate the praxis. I find out the dates. I meet with HR again after seeing these postings. I offer that, and I only ask that my position, or that the position as a math teacher in the middle school be held for me until I can take the praxis. Now, had I known about all of this a month ago, I would have probably signed up for the praxis then. Didn't know until I knew. I'm willing to move on that. I asked HR for that confirmation, that they could hold that position, of which there's 2, for me until I can take the praxis July 5th. I was told that that was a decision that the superintendent would need to make, so we immediately reached out to him. He did reply asking when the results would come back. I immediately, it was like 10 o'clock at night, replied with when that would be. Have still not gotten that confirmation. I feel like I'm bending over backwards, trying to make something work that's logical and that's good for our students. I don't know why I have to do all that and why these 2 non-tenured teachers shouldn't be looking for a praxis and maybe shifting into another position, but it is what it is and I'm willing to do it. I'm just looking for the consideration that I feel I deserve. especially given my flexibility on this, to get that kind of confirmation and to know that that this district can hold a position for me until I can take the exam and get the results. Haven't gotten that confirmation yet, and that's why I'm here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beckett-All. So that concludes our in-person public speaks this evening. We do have one online public speaks. Mr. Bonds, is Carrie McGee available? No? Okay. So that concludes our public speaks for this evening. Dr. Taylor, I know you're virtual, but do you care to respond?
Because all three of those public speaks were personnel and collectively bargained comments, I won't respond in public at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session at 6:48 PM to discuss the personnel resolution. The length of our first executive session is estimated to be about 15 minutes, after which the board will reconvene and proceed with business where formal action will be taken. May I have a second? Thank you, Board Member Eckert. All in favor? Okay, the vote appears to be unanimous. We are now adjourning to closed session, and we should be back very shortly. Thank you. We are now going to move on to the action portion of the meeting. As previously mentioned, the board will be taking action this evening to accept the resignations of several employees. 3 of these employees were on administrative leave with pay as is required under NJSA 18A:6-8.3 for several school years. The acceptance of the resignations concludes these employment relationships and avoids exposing the board, staff, and students to any entanglement with efforts that could challenge efforts to terminate. And due to confidentiality laws, we're not able to provide any further information. The board will also be taking action to approve several administrative appointments this evening as well. So I'd like to move Resolution 4481, the personnel resolution, for discussion. We have had a request by Board Member Wright to sever 4481B, last name Davis, for discussion. So I think, I think I'll move to discuss Resolution 4481 with the exception of 4481B, last name Davis. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, thank you, Board Member Deval Wilson. We are now in discussion for Resolution 4481 with the exception of B. Okay, Board Member Vadlamani.
So, there are many resolutions that we fight about and we complain about, but I can safely say that this is one where we universally agree on. I know we can't talk a whole lot about it, but as you can see with the head nods and the smiles, we kind of sort of agree on everything in this.
I'll echo that and also add on, this is something that previous boards have also been working on, and this is something that's been a long time in the making, so it's just great to see that there's a resolution here.
Seeing no further, or let me just check on the screen. Sorry, did anyone else have a comment on the screen? Okay. All right, so Mr. Burnside, if we could take the roll on Resolution 4481, not B. Davis, that would be helpful.
So 4481, A, B, C, and D, and E, and G. Okay, I think we have a typo. I have a 4472, F. So that's what I have on my resolutions. I think this is a typo. It should be 4481G.
Okay.
So, okay. Sorry, I just caught it. All right. Okay, so 4481 with the exception of 4481V, Davis. Board Member Wingfield. Board Member Vadlamani.
Yes.
Board Member Deval Wilson.
Yes.
Board Member Wright.
Board Member Wright, you're on mute.
Hello.
We can
Oh, my
hear you.
goodness, I'm saying, oh my goodness, what did I do? Yes.
Say yes. Board Member Telesford.
Yes.
Board Member Eckert.
Yes.
Board Member Gifford.
Yes.
Board President Whitletter.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Okay, I would now like to make a motion to bring 4481B Davis I'd like to open it up for discussion. Do I have a second? Okay, thank you.
Second.
We are now in discussion for 4481B Davis. Just looking around, is there anything that anybody wants to say? I'm turning to you, Board Member Wright. Did you want to?
Yes, I am concerned about where this position is placed on the salary guide.
Okay. Board Member Vadlamani?
So this is again another personnel resolution that has come up with the recommendation of the CSA. And I mean, I for one, I'm definitely going to vote yes for this because I want to follow the recommendation of the CSA because a lot of thought has gone into it. The HR department has looked into it and so on.
Thank you, Board Member Vadlamani. Do we have any other folks who want to speak? And my apologies, I don't know. Okay. Board Member Duvall, Dr. Telesford, and then Board Member Duvall Wilson.
I guess one of the comments I heard in our discussion is that we want the best. And after listening to the CSA describe the interview process and everything that went into evaluation, I'm convinced that we are getting the best. And so I will support this resolution also.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate the feedback and the discussion we had in exec, and I appreciate the thought and the process that went into this. And so for those reasons, I also will support this. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no further comments or questions, let's close discussion. Mr. Burnside, can you please? Sorry.
Before you do, I really don't have enough information about this to support it one way or the other.
Okay. All right, let's, thank you, Board Member Wright. We'll close discussion. Mr. Burnside, can you please call the roll on Resolution 4481B, last name Davis?
Board Member Vadlamani?
Yes.
Board Member Wright?
Abstain.
Board Member Duvall Wilson?
Yes.
Board President Whitletter?
Yes.
Board Member Eckert?
Yes.
Board Member Telesford?
Yes.
Board Member Gifford?
I abstain.
Motion's passed. The motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Burnside. That concludes the action portion of the meeting. So we will make another motion to enter into executive session at 7:23 p.m. to discuss the CSA evaluation. The length of the executive session is estimated to be about 90 minutes, after which the board will not return to public session. We will be immediately adjourning after this executive session. Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor? That appears to be unanimous, so we will now go to closed session. Thank you.